Hey there, everybody! We're going to start with a small introduction on how to color. To start to paint is the easy bit. We already have our polygroup color coded, okay? So we're going to lower this quite a bit in the hidden, alright, delete hidden, and let's get started with the paint. So to do this, we're first going to use a basic color. So you have to know that in ZBrush there are two kinds of color components, okay? So we have color and then we have material. These things are here. This is color and this is material. And if I put this instead of these two, it's going to be color and material at the same time. Okay, so we have the standard button that we can use as a brush, okay? And I want the Grail to be made of material. That's like this one, for example. Okay? And now, as you can see, we've painted it. But so we can really mark this one once and for all, both color and material, because the material may be metallic, but the color is kind of white. If I put in another color, we can see that now it's still metallic, but now the color isn't white anymore. It's another color, okay? So to mark this, we could activate this thing here and hit Fill Object. With this, we get the whole thing marked, like you can see. Now, for example, maybe I want to paint the green part in another color. So let's take away that symmetry. We're going to do the same as before. Okay. So let's hide all this so it can work easier. And then we have this part here. And now this part here, I want to paint it in like a golden color. So we would choose this here, okay? All right, and then let's fill object, okay? And then we have one part in gold and another part that's, well, it's in another color. Okay, for example, let's paint this part here. And I want this to be gold too. So there we go, gold. All right, so in this way, we can just carry on, and as you can see, this is just kind of introduction to color. We're gonna go back in a second, okay? So we'll leave the model again with no colors, and then we'll use the alphas like I explained before. And then when we have the alphas, the base and the model itself, we'll start painting on top of that. So let's go back. What we're saying is that we were going to put in some texture. So let's look for an alpha. Okay, so alphas. All right, for example, we can use these ones here. And using very little intensity, you can start placing this, okay? Even though it looks like nothing's happening, it is, okay? We're doing stuff. We're adding in little by little this texture and all of the cup, okay? Yeah, we're gonna do this in the whole cup. Seeing as we're working in symmetry, we're going to be going quite a lot quicker than we normally would. Okay. And now we could put in another alpha. We'll be a bit more precise. Here, we'll get rid of that symmetry, and then we'll increase the intensity by quite a lot. And we can put in like these little imperfections on the cup, okay? Okay. So let's go along choosing different alphas, and well, we can go along putting in those little details. For example, like here, we can put in this one. You don't have to overdo it though, like, but some little details can really make the difference before we start painting, okay? Okay. Okay, so now we're gonna give this guy a material, okay? Maybe this one, for example. All right, so this is all marked, fill object. Yep. All right, I hope you guys aren't having any trouble following this, okay? I hope you're not lost. All right. All right, so now we can put these guys in another material as well. Maybe in this one. Let's see. Eh. All right. Yeah, look how things change when we look at the other materials. Can you see that? And this is going to be like an emerald green here, for example. Okay, so what I was saying. Wait. We have to do the bit inside as well. We'll do this in maybe, I don't know. Like a goldish kind of tone. Yeah. Like that. Okay. Okay, maybe I like this material more than the other one. All right, so what else? So for example, what I was saying about the colors, we can paint and at the same time we can sculpt. So to do this, we just have to activate the button here that we have here activated and the Z sub. Okay, so now we're going to grab a normal brush, take away that alpha. Ooh, we'll put an alpha like this one. See, I'm increasing the intensity, and look at how I'm painting and I'm sculpting at the same time. So I can go crazy here, man. This works quite well for a number of things, okay? I can get a kind of alpha, okay? We can lower the intensity a lot with C. With C, we can get like a kind of dropper tool. Okay, see? Oh. Well, we changed the color. So C is to change the color. So I can put in like a kind of color that's a little darker. I'm gonna lower this a lot. You can see that I'm painting and I'm doing sculpting at the same time. So this is great for many things. I'm just kind of like saving my own time right now. Your time's important, man. You gotta look after it, you know? Okay. So maybe to put in some more details here. All right, so if we activate the symmetry as well, well, even better. Even better. We're saving even more time. That's all I want to do here at ToothPad. We want you to use your time wisely. We're here to teach you how to. All right, so this bit here too, we're going to do this in like a material, like, for example, this one here. Let's see how it looks like this. Okay, it looks pretty good. So you can see like what this is for, right? Like, what we're doing, why we're doing this, why we're on this planet. I can't. If anyone can understand why we're on this planet, let me know. All right, so here we could go crazy, to be honest. Just adding details left and right. Whoop, whoop, you know? Just like putting in colors, drawings, shapes, whatever you feel, man. And now we're painting and we're also sculpting. So if we raise this a little bit, we're going to be able to see this even more, okay? Because we're also going along sculpting, okay? All right, so we're going to correct a few parts that are left to correct, so we can simply just go along doing that. Make a mask, and we'll invert, and we're going to paint that part that we have left, okay? Oh no. So we got this window. That means that the program didn't really like that very much. If something's changed, we lost some of the color, so we did it a bit different. It's the same thing, it's just different. Here in Lightbox, remember that you can also have like quick saves. The program saves this for us every X amount of time, and we can also modify the settings too. All right. Let's continue with what we were doing. I said we would modify this shape a little bit. And to summarize everything we've explained up to now, well, we've seen the different ways to model. Remember that there's a first way that's making a mask. So we, you know, make that mask, and then in extract, we made that mask go away. Then these parts here, well, we made them with a brush. That's here in the I letter. Any of these that are like IMM, like this one, for example, there's an insert sphere. There's a few of them, to be honest. For example, this one here, that is the one that we used where I think we made the gems, if I'm not mistaken, on some parts we selected. And then we pulled down the tab and we went here to brush. And in the modifiers, we can choose, well, we can choose any other object we want to, really. This is a brush that is set as a default on ZBrush. On the internet, you can find many, many more. You can see that here I've chosen one that's in another shape. We can't do this because it's subdivided. So I can put it to 1. Or in this case, to keep this, we're going to duplicate the model. And now we're going to lower this one's subdivision to 1. We'll turn on del higher. And now we're going to be able to put in this element, okay? Let's hide everything else with symmetry on. Well, we could put in this shape. This would be another one of the ways of putting details on the Grail. Maybe one here, for example. I actually think I like this the way it looked, more, with the other elements I made. This would go here, and then down here we could put another smaller one in. Now we just have to grab the Grail and do what we kind of explained with the polygroup. So hide everything we don't want and activate delete hidden to illuminate everything. So Control Alt Shift. Let's see where this is. We're going to be hiding what's left over. This here, and this here too. Careful we don't leave anything out. And then they'll hidden. And this way we make it separate from the Grail. Now that I have this element here that I like a bit more than the other one, masks are good, but you have to make the shape properly, and I actually like this more than before, so I'm going to eliminate the old things, and I'm going to keep what I had before. Sorry, I'm going to keep what I have now. Okay, later, the other way to do this is to use alphas. With the normal brushes, the standard ones, for example, we could add in some details in this part. Okay, we're going to grab something that's going to fit with the aesthetic. This one, for example, with these 2 buttons activated. And if we want to paint at the same time, we can activate the other button. For example, here we could use quite a lot of intensity, so we could give this some shape as well. Remember, so that this doesn't affect the green part, we just have to select this and then draw in the detail. And here we could do another one like this. Okay, so later another way to do this is the one we used at the beginning, similar to the traditional way with the Z modeler, extruding all the shapes with the polygroups. So the way we used in the beginning to make all of the shapes and the way they extrude and stuff. Okay. Also, I don't know if we already said this with these brushes here, the ones in I. Well, we can add in shapes, seen as they're made in the program, okay? Alright. So with the alphas, we can also create alphas. We will talk about this in another course, because creating alphas in Photoshop and ZBrush is quite an extensive topic. But, for example, in Freepik, I found some designs to download. Okay? I downloaded this one from the dark web, Freepik, and well, we just have to grab an element from here, right? In this case, this one here, the first one. So it's like a heraldic kind of theme, like a royal kind of theme. And we can use this as alphas as well. We can create alphas. I insist I'm not really going to go into this too much because there's a lot to talk about, all right? But it's this. I've made an interface of, I think, 300 by 300. And I've loaded in this that you can see right here. The background is transparent and the figure is in the middle at 72p's. And in mode, we're going to put it on grayscale. So that's important. And then when we save it, it's important that we save it in a specific format. This one here, okay? BMP. Okay, so this format is the one that allows us to, later on in ZBrush, where we can open this as an alpha. If not, if you save it in another format, maybe you can open it in PSD. I don't know, but with this one, for sure, you can do that. So here you can see that I have it open. Okay, so this is kind of a rush way to do things. You can see the edges of the square are wrong. To do this right, we'd have to work a bit more on this. We need more time, and we don't have that time, so yeah. But hey, to go quickly, we can do it like this, and then we can soften the edges. Also in Photoshop, this edge would have to be more blurred because right now you can see it's like this, with the edges of the square are a little bit weird. For example, in this brush, see this edge is kind of blurred, right? This is a good way to create an alpha. This is what happens when you create an alpha good. What I just did is something very quick, so you can see how to make them. In any other occasion, I would explain this much more widely. So, well, we could use, as I've said, the alpha I made. Let's select it. And for example, we can put this here. Let's see. We can put in a color. Look for space and get rid of the color that we don't want. I'm going to get rid of this one. And in here, for example, we're going to rotate it. Can you see that here it looks a little bit pixelated? It's what I said. We have to do this better. But hey, we can solve this anyway. For a concrete thing, we can do this. In this case, we're going to subdivide the Grail even more. And we can add in the detail. And now, well, we can soften this. Let's give this a low intensity. And we can go along cleaning this up. All right, let's see. Let's go along like this. And now in the middle, we can lower the intensity. And we're going to clean it up a little bit. So as you can see, for a concrete problem, we can find a quick fix. But for something more serious, well, it would be done differently. We could have put in like a color at the same time as well, by the way. Like, so keep that in mind. But we can also do that now if we wanted to. Okay. All right, so now maybe if I activate the other parts I had, I would have to eliminate them because the top part of one of the pieces can't be seen very well because this drawing would be covered up. Yeah. So let's soften this a little bit, and now you'll see a jump in the video just for that, because this part here, these elements cover... Well, I have to eliminate these parts here. We can do this by doing this. Whoops. Oh. Ooh. That's not good. We have to select the elements, not the cup, and then we hit delete hidden. Now we hit delete hidden, and then we'd have our finished cup. Okay, so now I can get this image and we can take it into Photoshop like this. Here you have it. And then in Photoshop, we could touch up the colors and do that post-production part. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed this. My name's Jared Swift, and I'll see you guys again soon. See you guys later. Bye.